Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we're back to Broken Sword 3, The Sleeping Dragon. So, we saw a Bible verse, and the Templars being Christians from the Crusades would be somewhat focused around the Bible verse. In fact, in this game, they're not really that focused. And it's from the book of Revelations, so the idea here is I've got to sneak behind this guy without getting shot. And I don't even really want to bother to creep around because I don't actually think that creeping increases the difficulty in somebody seeing you. Well, wait a minute. Seems like he did see me and got stuck in the table. So what do I do now? He seems like he can clip through the table. And so I'm either going to get caught or shot here. And too much of this happens, frankly, in the game, considering this is the third in a series of point-and-click adventures. And it only gets more awkward when you start to think, well, Broken Sword 4 kind of goes back to the 2D animation, I'm pretty sure. If it stays 3D, then I don't remember ever playing Broken Sword 4. Alright, here, let's just run. Like, the game freezes once you're caught. So there must be more to this than I believed. No. Running most definitely seems to cause noise, even though the game doesn't make any noise that I hear. At least I've got the audio a little low, so maybe. And I can't imagine that the plan is to Alright, he didn't see me that time. See, that's part of the problem with this game right there, is that you just kind of don't even know. Like, what triggers what. And see, I need to come over here and use the Bible.
I flicked through the good book looking for the right chapter. Aha!
Without animating any of the pages flipping.
Now, where is it? Got it. Blessed is he that readeth, and they that hear the words of this prophecy, and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. Chapter 1, verse 3. 103.
And see, I could probably have guessed that that phrase was in the beginning of Revelations. If not, so I would have gone 101, 102, 103. That would have been my answer. Now the question is, can I put in the time, or do I have to do all of that again? I have to do it all again. It didn't work. I got caught. I should have saved the game. Just try to rush through all of this. So he's standing right here. Let's go ahead and save. While we're at it, why not? I should have made a new save file. I really need to train myself to only make to make new save files between each recording in case one of my recordings messes up terribly and I have to replay parts of the game. So, if he's turning the book to Revelations, Revelations is the last book of the Bible, if people aren't aware of that. Which means the book should not be halfway open on both sides.
And keep those things which are written therein.
Unless this Templar Bible is just full of extra apocryphal books. Books that are not considered part of the Bible. Or not generally considered part of the Bible. Or maybe that Templar book has everything in 2 different languages. So the second half is, say, maybe the Latin translations, where the first half is the English translations. I guess that would explain it being halfway open. But the real explanation, of course, is they just didn't animate it. And see, a game like this is exactly what I imagine you expect. Let's see what it goes back to. Does it go back to my save spot, or does it... Let's see. Can we from this point go back in here, or do I have to quit? Is it worth... I did save, so it saved the number, so I don't have to even play that section. So what I was saying is, I could imagine a first-year video game programmer in some college thinking, sure, I can make a game like this, and even better than this. And we've seen plenty of people on Steam try to make games like this using assistive technologies. The RPG Maker is a great example of something that honestly shouldn't exist, because it just lets people who don't have the skills you may not realize you need, like the ability to hire actual artists, and so instead people make RPGs and flood Steam with them, and it's just too much, and they're never any better quality than what RPG Maker can do, and frankly they're not very good quality graphics. And that's what this game feels like too, is that they thought they could do it. They certainly thought they could do it. But the final product, it doesn't look very good. Just objective to reality. Unfortunately, back then, when this game was made, this probably was hailed for its 3D graphics. It was probably applauded. They probably said they look so realistic and so great. But in retrospect, you're like, no. Imagine that. Imagine The Witcher 3 that came out in 2016, and how good that looks on its ultimate settings, ultra settings. Imagine 10 or 20 years down the line, people going back and saying, boy, does The Witcher 3 look awful. That will be an amazing day. And I imagine in 10 or 20 years, if they are saying The Witcher 3 looks awful and it's unacceptably bad graphics, whatever we have in 20 years will look amazing. And I look forward to it. Anyways, let's put in the number from the Bible.
I entered the time suggested by the verse from the Bible. Chapter 1, verse 3. Nothing. I was running out of ideas. Then a sound caught my attention.
That's a terrible way to respond to it. They shouldn't have said nothing.
Sliding statues, ancient mechanisms. You didn't get this kind of thing back in Idaho. Behind the statue, a flight of stairs was going up. Well, here goes.
So we're gonna leave this area and probably end up in a completely different area again. Ah, this is the room that the game started.
Seize him! whoa! Let him go. Come in, Monsieur Stobbart. We've been expecting you.
Here's
Who are
that
you?
guy.
I am the preceptor of the temple.
The chapter of Saint Stephen?
Very good.
The two guys at
Deductions
back have
brought
the
you
same
here
face
as we
model.
knew they would.
My deductions also tell me you've got the key of Solomon.
We did have it, briefly, but alas, it has been taken again.
Cesaro.
He attacked swiftly and with overwhelming force. My men fought bravely, but it was not enough. A few of us retreated here to hide. A few miserable survivors.
Why is the key so important?
You know of the armillary?
Some?
Cesaro has set the armillary in motion. He will use the key to release the dragon energy in an enormous burst, which he will then harness to fulfill his own desires.
So where's the armillary? Surely all we have to do is go there and turn the damn thing off.
The whereabouts of the armillary have been long forgotten. 3 ancient stones hold the secret to its location.
Seriously?
Don't tell me.
More
You lost them
games?
too?
We have 1 stone.
Show me.
Oh,
Bingo. I do believe we've got the other 2.
It is said that the 3 stones are linked. With the stones there is a chance.
What can I do to help?
We will send our best knight, chivalrous, tenacious, and unswerving in his determination to fight evil.
Well, whoever this guy is, he's gonna need a hand.
That is for him to decide. Neo.
why is there smoke in the background? And there's very little explanation of the broken sword
Hi, guys.
phrase.
George, are
And
you
well, it
okay?
just skips
about.
to this point.
I went down below Montfaucon. They led me to a secret Templar base. And Andre, you were right. The Templars did survive.
Of course.
The original St. Stephen chapter.
But they must have been hundreds of years old.
My little chickpea. It doesn't mean the people themselves were original.
Oh,
Trouble
I'm not sure
Cesaro
on
beat
that
me to it.
point.
He's got the key of Solomon.
I guess
He's probably already on
that's
his way
true.
to the armillary.
did you find its location?
No. If the Templars ever knew it, it's long been forgotten. They did give me another of the alphabet stones, though.
Another clue.
Not only that, they, knighted me.
What?
Knighted, as in made me a knight.
Extraordinary.
That's how it felt.
Did they do it with a
Audio
sword?
Yep. Whole
glitch
shebang.
there.
Arise, Sir George. What do you think, Nico?
I'm speechless.
I guess if you and me were married, that'd make you a lady.
Very funny. So what should we call you? Your Highness?
My liege.
Oh, shucks, let's not be formal. Lord Stobbart of Idaho will do for now.
That's kind of funny, but so at the very least, they didn't say that his whole family this whole time were secretly Templars and he just never knew. That would have been a bit of a shame. But they did turn him into a Templar, and I kind of saw that coming. And there's only one thing we can do here with the computer.
The computer had been fixed.
Seriously. Okay. So we have a psi stone. So if we merge the psi stone with the alpha stone and the omega stone, it doesn't, they don't work.
No way was I doing that.
Let's just try to use the computer.
I had no reason to use the computer at the moment.
And it seems so strange that Nico didn't come with us. Why did we get separated again? Why do we constantly get separated from Nico? It's this star-crossed lover's tale that they seem to be insistent on telling. What action happened in the underground area that Nico couldn't have been a part of? She could have been sneaking around and following me everywhere I go. And the only place that I can even imagine would have been slightly problematic is if I walked into the urinal and used it. And that could have been easily solved by simply just having her stand outside. Yeah, there's no reason for her not to be around for most of the game, and yet they choose not to. And am I supposed to talk to these people? No. They're just sitting there. And I don't know about most people, but it seems odd that Beatrice is always sitting with the exact same posture of her hands in between her legs like that. It's like, it made sort of sense when she was about to meet on a date, but now the action just seems almost awkward. Like, I don't know. And then Andre is awkwardly staring at her without moving, and she's awkwardly, Nico's awkwardly over here just standing looking away.
I'd forgotten just how beautiful Nico was.
So, I also have to say the Templars are pretty lazy considering this may end the world, how they're not sending every single man they have after Cesaro instead of just sending George. I guess I'm supposed to talk to Nico. I didn't even pay enough attention to the story to figure it out.
Do you have any fresh ideas?
I'm as stumped as you are, George.
So, we should just go through everything, I guess?
Have you noticed how Andre has changed lately? He's almost charming.
Beatrice has addled his mind.
You don't like Beatrice much, do you?
She's a silly, over-made-up, underdressed little girl.
Ouch.
I just think Andre could do better for himself. That's all.
Ooh. So that kind of implies that Nico does kind of have some feelings for Andre.
Any idea what the symbols on the alphabet stones could mean?
No. Even Andre's not able to help with this.
I'm not familiar enough with the Greek alphabet to know if psi is in the middle. I know it's not the next letter, because that would be beta, alpha, beta. And then I think it's theta is before omega, but I could be totally wrong about that. So maybe psi's right in the middle, which would make sense.
It's so frustrating. We know the armillary is somewhere in Egypt.
So maybe we should look at a map of Egypt.
And you just happen to have one handy, I suppose.
Well, while you were out getting knighted, we found a DVD filled with satellite maps.
Cool.
Here it is.
So we get a DVD full of satellite maps, and she brings it up on the computer. They animated her
So
sitting
let's take a
down
look
and
at
using the computer.
We thought satellite maps would more closely represent the Egypt of thousands of years ago.
There aren't any ley line maps by any chance.
This is scientific fact, George.
Look
Looks like it needs bringing
how
up to
much
date.
she's
You can't deny
overacting.
the evidence, Andre.
Just when you think you understand the way the world works.
I'm always finding the same thing about women.
Hey,
Sorry. Where were we?
look. There's Northern Africa.
So, yeah, she was just using the computer, and she went through no less than 20 animations in the loop there. Not 20 different animations, but maybe 4 or 5 several times as that conversation was going on. It makes me almost wonder if they planned for the game to only have Nico, and then everybody else was added later by a second team that wasn't as qualified as far as just animations. And by animations I mean movement programmed, the directions in which arms and legs move versus animations of how the face and the arms look. I guess I'm supposed to just use this map. with, let's say, how about the Glastonbury postcard? How about the size stone?
Nico, look there. The size symbol looks like the Nile Delta.
You're right, George.
Does it?
Let's have a closer look at that section.
And then, so I see an omega over there.
Nico, there's another match.
The omega symbol is just like that bend in the river.
Let's have a closer look.
And apparently this is 4 pyramids. So let's then, with the alpha stone, I assume you would draw the 4 pyramids together, and whatever crosses in the middle is the location.
I'm a bit stumped this time, George.
Could be a dead end.
No. Look at the arrangement of those ruins.
They seem to be arranged in a cross, but not quite.
They're like the points on the Alpha Stone.
I wondered what they meant.
That can't be right. One of them is missing.
Exactly. The missing point is the location we're looking for.
So, we just read the map reference.
And we have the location of the armillary.
Well done, George.
Thanks, Andre. Come on, Nico. We have to stop Cesaro.
So that was Psi Omega Alpha.
One of us should be patrolling, you know.
Yeah, you're right. Off you go then.
Oh, thanks.
No, I mean, I'd love to help, but, well, strong sunlight makes me blotchy.
Well, use your sunblock then.
Well, that makes me blotchy too.
You're pathetic. How did you ever get to be a henchman?
This is the place, all right. So, what's the plan?
I thought it was your turn to think of one.
I'm sure it was yours.
I guess we'll just have to do what we always do.
Wing it?
I prefer the word improvise. That doesn't look like a proper entrance. Cesaro has tunneled his way into the temple.
Guarded, too. Direct approach is out. Again.
We should scout out the rest of the area.
Great idea. Did you bring the cloak of invisibility?
Damn! I left it in the bag of forgetfulness.
Nico!
And then she just runs off and does whatever she wants. And this animation looks a little bit better than some of the other ones. The quality goes up and down on these cutscenes.
Hey, did you hear something? No? I could have sworn... You'd best go and look.
Oh, right. Me? Why me? You're the one with the overactive imagination.
Out of the two of us, who's scarier?
Ah, but I also get sunburn, remember?
Okay, I'll do it.
Oh, great. Now the guard's patrolling.
So, the one thing I will say about George's modeling is at least I like the stubble idea that they do. Let's see. We'll save in a second. So, it's not completely in Nico's character to be a klutz and cause a distraction like that, but I'm not super upset with it either. I figured I'd just run for it. And that didn't work. And we can't do anything over here on this part. Like, is this whole section walled off? And see, so that part will get me shot. Well, that's what I figured. Where is Nico is an interesting question. Honestly, I don't think right now there's anything to worry about. Just wait for the dog to turn around. And then that dog moves rather fast. And there you are. And there's a crack in the area and you just run right through it. Another sneaking mission that really
That was
shouldn't be in
fun,
the game.
Wasn't it? By the way, the guards asked me to thank you for waking them up.
Oh, that? It was nothing.
And they're back into their Indiana Jones clothes, where she's wearing shorts. I frankly don't think in any adventuring environment you'd really want your legs exposed, just because you'd get them cut up in things, or sunburnt, or anything. It's just, you want long sleeves, I bet, and that long pant legs. Let's see, what's this?
It was an exposed area of stonework where you could see the blocks beneath.
George, what's that?
Where?
There, inscribed on that stone.
She was right. Carvings were just visible on one of the stones. See the symbols? Look.
The Nile Delta, the Alpha, and the Omega.
We're on the right trail.
So, let's just open
I
it.
couldn't work any of the blocks loose with my bare hands.
And we've got this ridiculously long list of items. We'll try the carjack, which we probably would always have in the game.
I was sort of expecting to excavate my way in.
George, look!
The last thing I expected was that the blocks were really a door.
Well, I kind of totally expected that. There is something about the inventory. They've sneakily made it so you have to have all the items that you will ever use again. But on top of that, they've also allowed you to hold on to every item that you picked up. The only item I think in my inventory right now that I wouldn't have had would have been the theatrical grease paint, because I picked up a second copy of that. And maybe I could have not picked up the aluminum foil or the string, because I don't think we're ever going to use any of that. But the security swipe card, the tin cup, the boxer shorts, we could have not picked up the coal. The silver coin we would have always had, so we're probably going to use that in the future. And the magnifying glass we have always had, and of course the stones and the notebook and the postcard and the key and the remote control and the stone cylinder. So
This was the end game. As we entered the tunnel, I wondered what was waiting for us.
this is the end game? Well, then we better save. Or maybe not. We'll see if there actually is any more game, or if I'm just going to see a cutscene here. That's got me a little confused. I wouldn't be surprised if we do end here in a second or two. So the Key of Solomon, what? Directs the energy. And how can we be really mad at this guy for being a Templar when I'm a Templar now, even if I am a good Templar and he was a bad Templar? For all I know, the St. Stephen's chapter of Templars are bad Templars too.
Tell me that wasn't the entrance ceiling behind us.
But Nico, it was.
Just tell me.
Hey, lucky that wasn't the entrance ceiling behind us, or we could be entombed here for eternity.
Thanks, George. By the way, have you got the torch?
The flashlight? No, I thought you had it.
No, we swapped on the plane.
But then we swapped again in the truck.
Aha, but we swapped again on the walk.
Nico?
You're right. Let's just feel our way around.
Hey, what's this? Feels nice.
George.
Right, sorry.
Mon Dieu. Look at all these guys.
Must have been some party.
Seems to be an easy place to die in.
I wouldn't worry. Well, not yet, anyway. Give it another 5 minutes.
How are we going to get out?
We'll be okay. Hey, did I ever tell you about that one time in Syria?
At length. Sometimes with diagrams.
Yo! Where did he come from?
So now we've got like a boss fight.
Guardian of the temple.
What?
Anubis. But he was the god who guarded the underworld.
Look at the decor. Says underworld to me.
If you come to this place, then you seek power.
Some kind of ancient hologram.
What?
Power may be bestowed only on those with the authority to use it, and the wisdom to bear its burden. You must pass 2 tests to prove that you are ready. In this chamber, you shall prove your authority to go onwards.
And if we can't?
It's a recording, George.
Yeah, I know. Just trying to get a dialogue going here.
I
So,
think you scared him off.
Strange how he spoke in English.
English? He spoke in perfect French.
so that's some magic that we hadn't seen before. Okay, so when I get close to the end of a game, you constantly have this issue where I could go a little bit further and it probably would take me another 30 minutes to finish the game. So we've gone a full 30 minutes in this recording, so almost certainly next recording we finish it. Unless something weird happens or it gets extended in some other way. That's going to be it for this recording as we look at the behinds of both of these characters. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.